Hi everyone, I'm back. I'm going to be making pork and white wine with apples, so hopefully this will turn out well because I'm filming it myself, so it could be interesting. So I've started, already done the prep, so I'll just show you this. So I've cut some carrots, some celery, some onion and some apples and some garlic. That was 4 loin chops that I've halved and floured and put some rosemary, a little bit of rosemary, a little bit of pepper with, and I crisped up some bacon and just chopped it up into small pieces. So I shall be using my trusty one pot method again, so I hope you enjoy. Okay, so I'm warming up the oil. I'm going to put our pork in, so all floured up and ready. So again, the flour will make the sauce a bit thicker, so we just plop these straight in. Get them all in there. Sorry for the shaky camera work, but you get the idea. Plonk them all in. I'm just going to let these just brown up a little bit in there. Have to get rid of anything. Just weighing that in the sink. Obviously wash your hands in between this because you're handling obviously pork, and that's a nasty bug if you don't. So I'm going to let those brown up and we'll go from there. So I've just turned them once after like 2 or 3 minutes. Just starting to get a bit of colour to them. I'll probably turn them again. Leave them for a bit longer now this side, turn them again, another couple of minutes. Don't want to cook it too long, just get a little bit of colour, and then you take it out and pop it down on the plate, and then we'll go to our vegetables. Yeah, so just to confirm while that's sizzling away, in there I've put 3 carrots, 2 sticks of celery, 1.5 onions. I only did half an onion because I had half an onion to use up, so you can use 1 onion, and just 1 big apple. You can vary that depending on how much pork you make, it's entirely up to you. The only other thing that's going in here would be some white wine, and a little bit of thyme, and some chicken stock. You can buy pork stock, but I haven't got any, so I'm using chicken stock. It's for the flavours. It's going to be diluted quite a lot, so it's not going to matter that much, but pork stock's just as good, obviously, because we're using pork. I think these bad boys are ready to come off, so I'm going to get them off. We've got a little bit of colour in there. That's all we want. I'm going to get them off and then we'll be back. Okay, so I've taken the pork out. Just leaving that to one side. And then, as you might remember from my previous video, you end up with some nice sort of sticky, gunky mess on the bottom. That's fine. We want that. That's all tasty stuff. So now I'm just going to chuck the veg in. Oh, I put 2 cloves of garlic in there as well. Sorry. There we go. Just to give it a bit of flavour. Just get my spoon. So then you're just going to want this to just sweat down a little bit. Case, that's a load of rubbish. Yeah, so you just sweat the veg down on a low heat. Bring out some of those flavours. I'm just going to put the lid on for a couple of minutes and just let that wilt down a little bit, and I'll be back. Well, while that's doing its thing, I'm just going to turn it down a little bit. You can just hear it sort of cooking away there. Some people might be wondering what wine to use. I just pick, what's not like the dirtiest, cheapest, horriblest wine, but just some cheap wine really. I don't think it has to be anything super special. I've just picked Sainsbury's own one, or Tesco's own one, I think it is. Some dishes will require you to use certain wines. Coq au vin, I think, uses a good Beaujolais, stuff like that, so you just research that for what you're cooking. But with this, I'm making something that it's not essential with the wine, as long as it's got the wine in it. Okay, I'll leave this another couple of minutes and I'll be back. While you're waiting for the vegetables to just sort of tick over, get them soft, you could make your chicken stock. In that, I'm just going to put a chicken stock cube and 2 bay leaves. I've got these dry bay leaves. I picked them up from an Oriental store. It was a massive bag and they were cheap as chips, so if you can shop that way, they last forever, so I'd recommend doing it that way. I don't know why I'm filming the kettle, but I can't film my face. Hang on, can you see me? There I am. Hello. I'm not waving to whoever's across the way, so I'm waving to you. I'm an idiot. See you in a bit. Ta-ta. Okay, the vegetables are done. They're nice and softened. Pork's there. I've got my pan to deglaze, so I've cracked open my bottle of white wine. I'm just going to put sort of, I don't know, a load. I'll show you the bottle. I'd go with about that much. It's about 2 glasses, glass and a half. And we're going to bring that up to the boil. Or get it hot. And then we're just going to scrape off all this lovely stuff off the bottom. See how it comes off? And that's a lot of flavour in there. So we bring that up to the boil. And then we chuck everything back in. If you want at this point, you can season things. So I'm going to put some pepper and I'm going to put some thyme in there as well. Probably about a spoonful, say a teaspoonful, maybe teaspoon and a half. Just to obviously, so that's like the liquid that we're going to be using that's going to bring out the flavour and everything else. So, and obviously very flavoursome itself. I'll see you guys in a moment. Okay, it's starting to come up to the bubble there, as you can see. I'm going to let it bubble for a few minutes just to reduce down a little bit. Then everything goes back in. I've got my stock there ready as well. I've done 350 mils of stock, but if we need more, you can always just add hot water to it. We don't really want a super chickeny flavour anyway, so even if it was pork, you really just want it for the salt and the other herbs in there as well, just to add to the flavour a little bit. I won't be cooking this as long as the beef and Guinness. This will probably be a couple of hours tops. I just think that the pork doesn't need as much as the stewing beef. The stewing beef takes a long time to get the best out of it. This pork is obviously, you can flash fry pork. Give it a couple of minutes each side. It was quite thin, so probably a couple of hours is more than enough. So I'm going to let this bubble away. In fact, I think that'll do. It's kind of reduced a little bit. I've scraped all the stuff off the bottom. So I'm just going to throw everything back in. Start with my vegetables, which you don't splash. In it goes. Make sure we get everything out. Get out. Thank you. And my pork. In it goes. And my bacon. In that goes. I'm just going to give that a stir. Excuse my thumb. The best way of holding this. Not like that. So I'm just going to give that a stir. Just coat everything in everything. It's starting to look delicious. It smells delicious. Those apples in there as well, just a bit of sweetness against the sharpness of the wine. I'm going to put my stock in, which I haven't stirred yet. So let's give it a quick 1, 2, 3. Give me 1 second, I'll be back. It's difficult one-handed. So I've put the stock in, so you can see the sort of water levels, or the liquid levels I should say, that we want. I would say that's a little bit more than that, just a tiny bit, just so it's covering a little bit more. So I'm just going to put in a splash of hot water, just so it's over the top like that. I don't want as much liquid in this one because this has got to thicken up nicely for a nice rich sauce to have with the pork. So on goes, well, you should have preheated your oven to about 150 again. As I say, my oven's rubbish. If you've seen my previous video on the beef video, then you'll be pretty familiar with the methods I'm using. It's all pretty straightforward stuff. Once you've learnt it, the basics, use the same sort of vegetables. You can add mushrooms to this if you wanted to. I'm not going to, I don't want to, but you can. It's pretty straightforward stuff, and but as you'll see when it finishes coming out of the oven, it'll be gorgeous. I can't keep my video on pause for the next 2 hours, so I'm going to have to record that as a separate video. But I hope you've enjoyed this one. It's pretty straightforward. I'm Craig Phillips, and it's been a pleasure. Toodle pips.